more opportunities to win weekly prizes from local businesses when you click it to win it. Download the 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida app today at Google Play or the Apple Store.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, very light rain and definite thunderstorms and a high of 86 with a moderate breeze coming out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. For tonight, likely thunderstorms and very light rain at a low near 79. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and a high around 87. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Pest Control. Summer is finally here. Now is the time to enjoy your lawn with cookouts, pool parties, or just catching some of that summer sun. Don't let fire ants ruin your day. Call Turf Pro Pest Control. Turf Pro will come out to your property and eliminate fire ants quickly. We guarantee it. Call Turf Pro. The blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Find us on Facebook at Turf Pro PC.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast-charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
Great design is timeless, and that's why Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves offers a stunning selection of vintage, antique, estate jewelry on sale now at 40% off. Exquisite Victorian rings, Art Deco diamond brooches, Georgian and Art Deco bracelets, earrings, and pendants. These one-of-a-kind pieces add personality to any ensemble, and now at 40% off. Find your timeless treasure at Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Can you take the hits? Here comes the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And a good morning, Northwest Florida. You are tuned into the Sports Blitz, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Good morning to all of you out there. And let's make this a great week. You can call the show. You can text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us there, ESPN Northwest Florida. Download our app. We're on the Google Play Store. We're in the Apple App Store. Again, ESPN Northwest Florida, how you can find us there for everything. ESPNPC.com is the website, so visit it to keep up with all of the things going on right here in the studio. Beach flags are yellow today. Again, another Yellow Flag Day. This is a run, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, an absolute run. We never see this many Yellow Flag Days in a row around here. We usually at least get 1 or 2 Red Flag Days thrown in, but I mean, it's been what, at least 2-3 weeks straight now? Straight up yellow flags. I am loving that right now. A little bit cloudy out there today, guys, but not a bad thing because at least when it's cloudy, it's a little less hot. And it hadn't been too hot lately. I'm kind of happy with that. We had about that first couple of weeks of August, man. That's deadly. That's deadly. It was hot. I hated it. But luckily, hopefully, we can get out of that. It can be warm. I don't mind warm. I just hate hot and humid put together. It just makes me melt and sweat. And I'm just one of those people that sweats anyway. And when that happens, I sweat even more. Tropical Storm Erin has been named out in the eastern part of the Atlantic. It is the 5th stormed name so far this season. And while we've had a pretty quiet hurricane season so far, we all know that the big times are really September and October. September's right around the corner, guys. October is as well. Now, it doesn't look like any kind of impact as of right now. Again, of course, as of right now, doesn't look like any impact coming into our area. But we never know, man. The weather does what the weather wants. So it might be here, it might not, but we'll keep up with it. And make sure to stay in tuned with Joanna right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, because she will let you know what to do if it gets close by. What happened over the weekend? Well, the big thing I think that happened over the weekend is the news coming out of New York City. Paramount, yes, the Paramount, the guys who stream stuff to your television, getting the rights to UFC. They'll have at least 30 quote-unquote, fight nights a year and 13 marquee numbered matchups. So you think UFC 146, things like that. No longer going to be on pay-per-view, but going to be able to be found on Paramount Plus to stream it. So maybe more people get over there to people. More people can watch the big events now because, pay-per-view kind of expensive, kind of archaic now if we really look at it. A lot of things are going away from it. Boxy's gone away from it in favor of, streaming services like Danzon. The WWE went away from it a couple of years ago with Paramount, and now is going to flow over into ESPN, and now we're seeing UFC getting picked up by Paramount. It is a 7-year deal, so it'll be a 7-year deal. Bone Crusher, would you like to take a guess on how much Paramount will be spending?
$1 million.
You're close. It will actually be $1.1 billion a year. Not 7 years, $1.1 billion. $1.1 billion a year.
1 kabillion gazillion.
That's one of those numbers I look at it and go, I understand what you're saying, but I don't comprehend how high that stack of money would be of just $1 bills on top of each other. That's one of those things. You got to look at it that way. I have no idea what that would look like. I'm sure it would stretch pretty high in the sky. If one of you is really great with math, call in. Let us know exactly. Do the math for me. How tall would $1.1 billion, $1 bill stacked up on top of another dollar bill, take us up into the sky? 850-215-6290 if you know that answer. And a big prize for you would be my admiration for you being really, really great at math. James Fife here, sitting in the captain's chair. Bone Crusher with me today, hitting the ones and twos, making us go out to that world that we call radio. That was one of those when I saw it. I was like, man, we're getting a lot of these coming out right now because last week we saw about the WWE. This week we're seeing about Paramount, and a lot of these things starting to go into that form of streaming. Look at it now, the Friday night game that we'll have for the NFL this year, the game that will be from Brazil, another game from Brazil on Friday night, will be on YouTube. It will be streamed on YouTube. So not on any formal, say it with me, formal, not on a standard formal traditional broadcast format. which, we think of as, ESPN right here. You think of your over-the-air networks, ABS, CBS, Fox. And then we've had a couple of them that go to quote-unquote streaming services, and those streaming services are, related to usually to a ESPN or a CBS, except for maybe, the very first guys to do it, I guess, would have been Amazon Prime. But, there's still a service that you subscribe to. Now, YouTube, totally different. You just go over to youtube.com, type in what you're looking to watch, and if they got a video of it, you get to watch it. So the NFL will be broadcast. It will be a live broadcast. You don't have to wait for the game to be over and go back and watch it. Kind of interesting on what will YouTube bring to the NFL. Will it really change anything? So lots of these changes coming through, but lots of changes just in the media landscape as well. The Eagles are going to lose left guard Landon Dickerson for at least a little while. He was carted off of a practice field Sunday with a right leg injury. That is not great news for the Eagles. That is a starting left guard that last year was a Pro Bowl member. So that is talking about one of the best guards in the league going down in a not preseason injury, but, I guess it is a preseason injury. It's a preseason practice injury, so not done during a game, but done with, your own teammates, which goes to show you that anything can kind of happen. It was a quote-unquote, non-contact practice, where they're just wearing the helmets and wearing the shorts. But, if you trip over something and you twist that ACL, it's gone, pop, bang, go, boom. It's done. Go ask Ronald Acuna that. He blew one out going between second and third base. No contact there at all. And usually whenever you get somebody that's laying down on the ground and you're like, I didn't see anybody hit him, that's when you know. That's when you know not great things are happening for that person right there. Yep, turf monsters. Some WNBA news. Aja Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces set a WNBA record this weekend. 30 points and 20 rebounds in a game. First WNBA player to ever reach that mark in a single game. The Aces defeated the lowly Connecticut Sun 98-46. Suns just a team not doing well this year. They were looking at trying to get the team sold. Did not get it sold, so they will be in Connecticut again for at least another season. A little bit of hockey news I saw coming out, even though not quite yet to hockey season, but we'll eventually start getting some rookies and those guys reporting here. Well, it's August 11th, pretty soon. But Matthew Tkachuk has said he has not made up his mind yet if he is going to have surgery to repair a torn abductor muscle and a sports hernia.
What's an abductor muscle?
The abductor muscle, it's coming in this way. So like when you're on the machine that's, pulling your arm forward, it's that muscle. It's kind of, in your armpit, between your armpit and your collarbone when you're pulling it forward. Apparently he has gotten some kind of a tear to it. It happened during the Four Nations tournament that was back in February that we all watched and had a great time watching it. Apparently it was against Canada, that big game where all the commotion and great stuff was happening of hockey. Looks like he got both of those injuries during that game. He did miss all 25 regular season games after that point for the Panthers, but was able to come back for that playoff push and win that cup with the Panthers. So we will know here, looks like in the next week or so, if Matthew Tkachuk will go under the knife or not. If he does go under the knife, it looks like he will be out of commission for 2 to 3 months. And then again, after that, you're going to see him going through all his rehab starts, which will probably take about a month. So we'd be looking at getting him back January, February. And I'm kind of now going to question, will he be available for the Olympic roster? Because the Olympics are going to be in 2026. So that's next year in February. So that's even less than 6 months away, isn't it? If we start sitting here and doing some math. No, it is about 6 months. So maybe not. Are the Panthers even going to let him go with a chance of another injury? Just literally coming back from shoulder surgery and having that issue from letting him go and playing in a tournament that was not involved with your team. So
Let me ask
we'll
you a
just see what
question.
happens there. Ask away.
When it comes to the Olympics, are we sending the best, or teams gonna be like, hey, let's leave the stars here. We don't want them getting hurt.
So it's the teams can make a argument to the league that, hey, this guy has been injured. We really don't want to see him, go out there, have another chance at an injury, or guy's been playing a lot. We really need to have some downtime for him. So the teams can go to the league and ask, hey, league, we don't want to send this guy. The league can go, you know what, he's fine. He's been playing. He can go. Or the league will go, you know what, you're right. He's injured. He has to stay. This happened actually last year during the Four Nations. So Jack Hughes, center for the Vancouver Canucks, initially himself said, I'm too injured to play. I don't want to go. So the Vancouver Canucks sent a letter to the league saying, hey, he's injured. He's asking not to play. Is it okay if he doesn't play in the tournament? And the league came back with, yes, he's been injured. He's on the injured list. We know of his injuries. That's fine. He can stay and not play. But during that time period, like few days before the break to go to the Four Nations, he came off of the injured list and then was like, man, you know what? I'm still not going to go. But once that they got there and the U.S. was winning, then he says, oh, look, I can have a chance to win me a medal. Can I come play? And, of course, the league said, well, a couple weeks ago you were too hurt to play, and now you want to come play? No, sit at home. No, you're not going to go in.
So who is this? This isn't like an all-star game where it's kind of optional. So the league is deciding which hockey players are going to go, and they're sort of forced to do it?
They're not. I mean, the guy can step out. Most of them don't want to because the league is, giving them some cash to show up. It's not going to equal anything that they're getting paid in the league to show up for a game. But, I mean, they're looking at it now as instead of having an all-star game, that this will pseudo be the All-Star game. So the NHL's talking about having a rotation where every other year it's an All-Star game, then every other year it's either the Four Nations or the Olympics that takes place, which I am totally fine with. I think it'll be a better product than an All-Star game that nobody watches anyway. And the league does tell guys, hey, you have been selected as an All-Star. You show up or pay the fine. Unless you are like hurt and they know you're hurt and you're like on the injured list, then they'll go, okay, you don't have to show up. But no, the league wants those guys to be out there. It's good for the league. It's eyeballs for the league. People go, man, look, those guys are really good. Where can I go watch them play on the regular? Oh, it's the National Hockey League. You can go watch there. So the league does have an interest on having these guys there. And I think it's a big deal too, because it'll be the first time in 16-ish years that the NHL has sent their guys to the Olympics, because the last one was when the Olympics were held in Sochi, and I want to say that was like in 2010-ish. So yeah, that would be 16 years. So that would be 2010 to 2026. So yeah, 16 years since NHL players have been involved in the Olympics, and I like it. I understand why owners don't like it. Some fans like it, some fans don't. Some fans don't like the long break. It doesn't bother me because I'm still getting to watch really great hockey on an international scale, so I don't really feel like I'm missing out on hockey in February because I'm still watching the greatest players just represent their country instead of representing, whatever team in the National Hockey League or KHL or over in the, East Hockey League over in, Germany and everything like that. So it's a good thing. I'm glad to see them back. Now, the NHL is having the Olympics pay for all of the insurance on players. So, like, if a player gets hurt and he misses time, the cost does not fall onto the NHL team to pay for all of his injuries in the hospitals, and then also for his, missing time of action. That will be covered by an insurance plan that the international or the IIHF will be footing the bill for. So that way, if somebody does get hurt, okay, you're missing them from games, but at least, the Nashville Predators or whoever it is, when their guy's missing, at least they're not having to pay the bill while he sits on the sideline. Somebody else is at least paying his salary.
Okay, yeah, but they're still down a star player.
Yeah, you're still down a star player, which is not great, which is not what you want. But the NHL is not great at marketing its players. The NHL is not good at marketing itself, period. I just don't understand why they just don't grab guys and, really prop them up. Or when they do grab somebody, they drift towards guys like Connor Bedard and McDavid, who have about the personality of Melba Toast when you sit there and talk to them. So they're not really the guys that you want to have front and center representing we had a great game last night, and we got some good products here that we're promoting, and the NHL is fun. So we need you guys to come out and support us. That's the guys that they keep putting out front. There's no entertainment value to them. Get some guys that they might not be the best guys in the league. And you don't have to get the best guys in the league to do this, but you at least need guys that are good at what they do and have some personality to go with it. PK Subban was an excellent guy to do that for the longest time for the NHL, because good player, all-star caliber player, future Hall of Famer, absolutely not. But he could go out there and he had personality, and he could give personality, and people paid attention to what he said because he had personality to go with it. That's what you got to have to build a league, NHL. I don't know why you keep going after these guys that are boring, but you do. But
Put a little Ric Flair on that.
Woo! Sorry, Ric Flair drip, man. Ric Flair say, woo! So, yeah, NHL coming into the Olympics. I am excited for that. But Matthew Tkachuk, we'll get back to that because we got kind of sidetracked from there, but that's okay. So Matthew Tkachuk could be out 2 to 3 months. That can make a difference to the Panthers, but they have loaded up fairly nicely that I think they can still play well enough without him that I'm not concerned with them missing the playoffs or anything like that, because the NHL is one of those. Is it better to be the first team into the playoffs? Sure, it is. But it's also one of those that the playoffs is like a brand new season, brand new beast, so you can even walk in an 8th place team and win the Stanley Cup. So as long as you get there, guys, as long as you get there, you are good to go. Justin Verlander gets to career number 3,500 on the strikeout list. Congratulations, Justin Verlander. 3,500 strikeouts. That's a lot of Ks to get. Got it during Saturday's game. Struck out the top the Nationals order in the top of the first, set them down 1-2-3, but the Giants did lose that game to the Nationals in San Francisco 8-0. So Verlander not having his best season as a 42-year-old. He's like 1 for 9, ERA over 4.5. But I mean, the guy's 42. He's older than me, man, and he's still out there, dishing out on a Major League Baseball field. I'm not even that old, and I'm send me out there. Yeah, right. I'm going to be lucky to jog out to the mound without falling over.
I'm pulling for the old guys. The older I get, the more I root for the old guys.
Oh, I have a rule on that. I am a huge fan of any of the older guys, and any of the fat guys in baseball. They're just like my hero. It's like one of those things I can look at him and go, man, that guy has an absolutely great physique. It reminds me of my own. Love him. I hope him well through all of his major league experiences. Had the same thing for chunkier guys in basketball and, Tony Stewart. I was a huge Tony Stewart fan, especially there towards the end where Tony was getting on a little bit more rounder pace. In NASCAR, that made me a Tony Stewart
I can't root for the fat guys. I was out shooting hoops over the weekend, and we're playing full court 5-on-5, and I was matched up against the fat guy. I'm like, man, I'm going to school this dude, man. I'm going to take him to town. Look out for in-shape fat guy, because he took me to town. He dribbled past me. I fouled him. He blew me away. I could not keep up with in-shape fat guy.
Don't you hate it when they got those ringers like that? You're like, yes, I got that guy. Yeah, that's mine. I'm going to take him down. And then it's like, nope, ringer. Man. I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to sit on the bench for a minute, hold my basketball, and lick my proverbial wounds. But we are tuned in to the Sports Blitz 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290. When we get back, we'll review the other games that happened in preseason week 1 of the National Football League.
Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
slay's like a cool term for the kids now. I hear a lot of like young people say like, oh, go slay. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but that's what they say.
Is that what they say?
Well, not me. I don't say that.
Oh, go slay.
How do you say slay? What are you supposed to say?
Ooh, like that jacket? Slay.
Does it?
It's a nice jacket.
But it doesn't slay?
I wouldn't put it in the slay category.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, very light rain and definite thunderstorms and a high of 86 with a moderate breeze coming out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. For tonight, likely thunderstorms and very light rain at a low near 79. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and a high around 87. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Tired of boring merch and want a brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
This is the Sports Blitz. We don't just talk sports. We start fires. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz is on the air, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show and text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download the app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And visit the website, ESPNPC.com. And ESPN Northwest Florida is who you can rely on for accurate and active up to the minute weather forecast with Joanna. So just keep your radio dial right here during hurricane season to know what is up and coming. Big thanks to Mid-South Lumber, Ellis Agency Insurance, and Earthworks of Northwest Florida for bringing the weather to the people of the Panhandle. Week 1 of the NFL preseason has completed. We have 24 days to go to the official kickoff of the National Football League. We have 12 days to go for the official kickoff of college
You're not excited,
football.
are you? Counting the days, are we?
No, we're not excited at all. We don't need to know how many days it is. We even have been watching a whole weekend of preseason football. What do these mean in the long run? Nothing really. But they mean a lot to a lot of guys on those fields, because every one of those dudes that head out there for a preseason game are looking for a starting job or are just looking for a job. That is how big this 3-week-long interview process is, because we did see a couple of starters this year. We really did. Some teams are bucking the trend, letting the starters go. We'll see how deep that goes into this preseason. We might get to see some guys all the way to, week 3. I'm going to say week 1, week 2. We will. Week 3, I bet we'll see nothing but real backups. But I could be just dead all wrong. Let's look at the Friday games. Friday, we saw the Lions and the Falcons. The Falcons did lose to the Lions. That was a 17-10 score in favor of the Lions over the Falcons.
They stopped that one early, right?
That one did get stopped early due to the injury of Norris, cornerback for the Lions, going for a tackle on one of the Atlanta Falcons running backs. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was it Emory Jones or Carter? But it was later in the game. about 7-12, somewhere in there, minutes left in the fourth quarter. Goes down to make the tackle, gets low, tries to get him around the hips, tries to get him around the thighs because he's a smaller guy than the running back, just slow him down, let the other guys catch up to him. But that running back's knee just went directly into the side of his head, and he hits the ground. And the scary part there is he started having the seizures in the fencing, just like we see from Tua every time Tua gets hit. So it was not a pretty picture at all on the field. You get ambulances out there immediately. You got backboards and stretchers coming out. You couldn't see him for the longest time because, all the training staff from both teams and the ambulance service and, police security are out there just standing around him, so you can't see him. And then for a couple of minutes for me, it was just like, okay, I saw him going down. What's going on? But we did eventually see him get on to get him onto the gurney on a backboard. And when we saw him on the gurney, at least you saw his eyes open and looking around. So that means at least he was conscious and might not know where he is, but is at least conscious and looking around going, I'm somewhere. So good sign. He is out of the hospital already, and he actually was at the team's facilities this morning. So apparently he's good enough to not be in the hospital, which is a great step considering how scary that looked when it did happen. Mm-hmm. So nice to see him not, go into like a career-ending thing. Kind of nice not to have another, Damar Hamlin incident, where a guy just literally drops right there on the field and is technically dead.
For a minute,
yeah, he was dead. That heart was stopped. That mean you dead. Technically, according to modern medicine, that's how death works. Your heart stops. Duh. So, but apparently that was not the case for him. No CPR given, was not technically legally dead or anything like that. Now I guarantee you he was unconscious for the first couple of minutes while everybody was around him, and when he got back, he was just looking around going, who are all of you people? Where am I? Is this a field I'm on? I'm Batman. All right, so
some of those sniffing salts they're trying to
get them some of them sniffing salts that you can't have anymore.
Yeah, right.
All right, we're good to go.
Use a couple of those right now.
Sure, yeah.
Did you bring your own?
Yeah, well, you got to bring your own. Make sure you have them in your pocket because we can't bring them to you. Crazy, man. Crazy on that one. We did not see Michael Penix for the Falcons. Yeah, kind of surprised by that. I thought we might see him because he's not had a whole lot of NFL experience. He did get into a couple of games last year for cleanup duties with Kirk Cousins, and we did not see Kirk Cousins. However, we did get to see the epic and the immortal Easton Stick take the field, 15-18 on the game, 149 yards for one passing touchdown. And then the fourth guy on the roster, Emory Jones, know nothing about him, 4 for 5 on the evening, 49 yards. Detroit, we didn't get to see a Stafford. So we get to see Kyle Allen, and we saw Hendon Hooker. Kyle Allen, 7 for 8, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hendon Hooker, 7 for 10, only 38 yards on those 7 catches. So Hendon didn't look bad, but he just did not go deep at any point. Next game of the evening, where did that go? Okay. Thanks, Internet, for going away from me. Like it. All right, so more scores from Friday night for the NFL. Come on, Internet. I hate you sometimes, really, I do. All right, the Browns taking on the Panthers. This was one of those games everybody absolutely looking forward to because everybody wanted to know, what is Shedeur going to do? Is Shedeur going to look okay? Are the Browns going to do something weird and just offbeat? So, what did the Browns do? They said, we're going to play Shedeur Sanders through 3 quarters, and they certainly did. Shedeur Sanders coming into the game, knowing, really, nobody really knew anything about him. It was literally Shedeur Sanders' very first football game that he'd ever played in his entire life without his dad as his head coach on the sideline. So you got to think about that. Many have their but few of us have our dad be our coach throughout our entire career. Well, I mean, if our career ends in like Pee Wee football, then maybe your dad is, the only coach you see. But there's very few circumstances where a guy goes all the way up into the NFL. And the very first time that he looks over at the sideline and doesn't see his dad is in the National Football League. You know, usually you don't get to see your dad coaching you in college. Usually you look over there and it's another guy coaching you. So how would Shedeur respond to this without having dad there? Well, Shedeur did not look bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. 14 for 23 on the evening, 138 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, did get sacked twice. Didn't really look like his fault on one of them, and then one of them was he kind of ran back in the pocket and got a little scared, and he got a sack. Happens. But, I mean, that was one of the things that he was doing a lot of in Colorado, and he got away with it in Colorado because, well, the defensive tackles and the defensive ends coming at you in college, not as fast as those guys in the NFL that are coming at you. You can't do that in the NFL. You will be caught. Eventually, you're not going to get caught every time, but eventually you will be caught. I think that's something that Shedeur learned that game. Now let's see if he does it again, and I can confirm that he actually learned that. We'll get to see. It looks like the Browns, however, will be starting Dylan Gabriel next week and not Shedeur Sanders. Tyler Huntley did make an appearance for the fourth quarter, 6 for 8 on the evening, 51 yards and 1 touchdown. We got to see the whole menagerie for the Panthers. The Panthers had starters everywhere out there. We got to see Bryce Young. Bryce Young for his one set, 4 for 6, 58 yards, and got the team a touchdown. Then we get to see the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, coming in for the game. I am just shocked Andy Dalton still has a job, but congratulations, dude. Keep making that NFL money. 13 for 19, 101 yards, and 1 interception. Then the rookie Jake Plummer comes in, 6 for 10, 79 yards on the evening. That is a pretty interesting way to look at for the Browns. You only got to see 2 of the quarterbacks, but we already knew that we were not going to see, we were not going to see Pickett, and we knew that we were not going to see Flacco. I don't think we'll see Flacco at any point during the preseason. He's old enough to know what's going on in the NFL. He doesn't need to keep on learning. He just needs to not get hit as an old man. That's exactly what needs to happen right there. And we knew Dylan Gabriel would be out with a quote-unquote hamstring. So that's why we're going to get to see Dylan Gabriel next week do basically what Shedeur did this week. Now, I don't know if Shedeur is going to come in off the bench after him or not. Hopefully that gets an explanation later in the week, or I'll just have to tune in and watch the game and see what happens. That's so awful.
I was watching the Shedeur Sanders thing because you know what? I don't like the guy. I wanted to see him fall on his face. I wanted to see it go horrible for him. And you know what?
It didn't.
It didn't. He was still saying the wrong things after the game, but
He's
on the field, he was making good decisions. I saw a good quarterback.
He did not. No, he looked good. That's what I wanted to see, is how is he going to look against an NFL-style defense? And there was actually starters out there against him. He also had starters in front of him on his team, so it wasn't like, the second-string left tackle was there for him. But he looked good. He was competent. He mostly kept his calm under pressure. He did have some of those plays where what he does, like when the pocket starts to just compress on him a little bit, instead of stepping up into the pocket and letting the pocket come around him, he runs out the back. And he did that 2 or 3 times, and that's where he got caught on one of those sacks. And he also had he didn't get it up to the line of scrimmage, so, it was an intentional grounding, because you got to get the ball to the line of scrimmage and or you collect the intentional grounding. But he ran so far back that he just kind of gave that wild chuck, and that wild chuck did not make it past. It was about a yard short, but you got to get it over that yard. That's the big thing. And in college, once you roll out of the pocket, you're also considered to be out of the pocket. But in the NFL, if you roll out of the pocket, you're still behind the line of scrimmage. Ball still must go past the line of scrimmage. So again, a change of rule from college to the NFL as well, that maybe now he understands how that rule works, because it is a different rule, and each time you step up a level, there are new rules that you need to learn. Commanders taking on the Patriots. The Patriots put an absolute walloping on the Commanders, 48-18. Ow-ee. But the Commanders started no starters. The Patriots did start starters. Not making excuses here, but that's where you saw a lot of the action coming from, was the Patriots almost for 3 or 4 series running the starters. Drake May coming out 3 for 5, 12 yards. Joshua Dobbs. Hey, nice seeing Josh Dobbs in the NFL again. 5 for 12, 45 yards. And Ben Wooldridge, 9 for 12, 132 yards for the Patriots. Josh Johnson, the backup for the Commanders, coming in at a 15 and 22, 173 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And Sam Hartman, still got a job. Congratulations, Sam. 9 for 19, 64 yards, and 1 interception on the game. So the Commanders only running out their backups. Patriots running out their starters. Kind of is reflected in the in what we see as the final score. So can't take a whole lot from this game other than, seeing who might have a chance at being a future NFL player. Let's move on into Saturday because that will roll up our Friday games. All right, let's talk about this one. The Buccaneers and the Titans. Me being a Titans fan, totally excited. I had to tune into this game. Had to see it. How will Cam Ward look? What will the Titans have? Yeah. Well, the answers are Cam Ward doesn't look too bad. No, he doesn't. But a 29-7 score in favor of the Bucs, not pretty for the Titans. Cam Ward, 2 drives, 5 for 8, 67 yards. Okay, not bad. Brandon Allen coming in for some cleanup duties, 6 for 12, 62 yards. And Tim Boyle coming in for some even deeper cleanup duties, 14 for 13 on the evening, 24 passing yards and 2 interceptions. Tim Boyle, thank you for your time. Here is your cut. We will see you later. I mean, I was worried when they lost Will Levis that they would have a competent backup quarterback. And, well, they don't. They do not. Brandon Allen ain't it. Tim Boyle ain't it. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to pray that Cam Ward doesn't get hurt. They're going to pray that they don't get Cam Ward just smashed into the turf. That is just what the Titans are going to have to do because that defense, I was expecting a little bit more out of the defense, but the defense just looked awful, especially on those first drives. And the Bucs weren't even running their first guys. I mean, they were running Kyle Trask out there as a quarterback, who went 12 for 16, 129 rushing passing yards. Connor Baslick also in 6 for 9, 48 yards. So I mean that's not like a deadly looking offense right there. No, it's not. But they sliced and diced that Titans defense right on up. But it is preseason, so let's not look too deep into it. But oh man, guys, can we get the rushing game going? I need to see more than 66 rushing yards out of the Titans. Dang. That's a team that, you can't rely on that young quarterback for everything. You got to give him some help by letting him turn around and hand off the ball. But only 66 yards out of that. Tajay Spears, 3 carries for a total of -1. And it looks like the Titans have lost Tajay Spears for at least the rest of the preseason with a high ankle sprain. Now, Tajay is going to be the change of pace guy. He's not going to be the starter, but still, he is now down. So we're down to Tony Pollard and Julius Chestnut right now for when the season actually gets rolling. So please, Tajay, please be careful with that ankle. Get better. Come back soon. Calvin Ridley, 3 receptions, 50 yards. Not too bad for him. But all in all, for me, what did I see out of the Bucs Titans? I got a little bit of hope. And then I got a whole lot of disappointment from defense. Oh, man.
Your Super Bowl dreams have been dashed.
They got dashed as soon as they moved to Nashville. They got dashed as soon as Kevin Dyson reached out at that 1-yard line. And he was in that dome reaching for that touchdown in the Super Bowl. And it wasn't there. That's when I knew my Super Bowl dreams had just died.
Bueller.
All right, what other games do we got from the NFL this weekend now that I'm all saddened? We saw the Giants taking on the Bills. The Giants 34. The Bills 25. Now the Giants look pretty good out there. They had a nice game going on. Jackson Dart got to stay in through the whole first quarter. 12 for 19, 154 yards, 1 touchdown. Tommy DeCutlet's coming in, 10 for 14, 73 yards and 1 touchdown. Jameis Winston coming in, 7 for 11, 62 yards and a touchdown. And the starter, Russell Wilson, who went out for the first drive and then was done, 6 for 7, 28 yards on the day. Jackson Dart also had a nice little scamper for 19 yards, had 3 carries for 24 yards. And Jameis Winston also getting in on the run game, 1 carry for 12 yards. The Giants, man, that was a little bit unexpected for me. They looked competent. They looked together. They looked like a team that I haven't seen the Giants have in almost, I'd say, 5 to 6 years when the last time they made the playoffs was. This is exciting for the Giants and Giants fans. You got something going, man. Don't mess it up. Abdul Carter out there looking good, too. Had a nice tackle, got some pressures, but no sacks. So, I mean, you're looking at guys that you have taken and drafted in this last year, and they're looking good. So, Giants, keep this up. You might have some kind of excitement for us over there in the East. I mean, I doubt it. I bet the Giants turn it into the Giants once the regular season hits, but it is the Giant way. All right, more games on the day or the days. We got the Texans taking on the Vikings. The Vikings defeat the Houston Texans 20-10. No, we saw J.J. McCarthy for about a drive. J.J. McCarthy, 4 for 7, 30 yards. Didn't look bad. Didn't look great. Really didn't get to see what he had, so we're just going to have to watch for him in the future and what happens and how he develops. Brett Rippon came in for a drive, 1 for 4, 6 yards. Max Brosmer came in for a drive, 5 for 8, 47 yards. Sam Howell carrying the most of the workload, 11 for 13, 105 passing yards. Texans not running any of their first string guys out there, just running the backups to see what they had. Caden Slovis carrying the load for the Texans at the quarterback position, 11 for 15, 71 yards. Davis Mills, 4 for 5, 50 yards and a touchdown. And Graham Mertz, yes, Graham Mertz out there slinging a football still, 7 for 14, 27 yards. Not the prettiest night for those guys. Gonna take a quick break. And we'll come back, wrap up NFL preseason 1, and we'll have a little bit of a Jags update to come with it. The Sports Blitz, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something. Why don't you go catch your breath before commenting on somebody else's? And hats off Tuscaloosa Jim Duggan. Just shut up, because I could strike you out blindfolded, pitching underhand with both arms tied behind my back.
Okay, why don't we take a break? I'm pretty exhausted.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you. Serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Scorpion TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks.
or watch thousands of movies on demand. All for just $45 a month when you use the ESPN NW promo code at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Scorpion TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Scorpion TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Scorpion TV logo. Don't forget our promo code ESPNNW.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update. Presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves top the Marlins 7-1 and take the series. I'm Barrett Salim. This is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
The Braves take 4 of 5 in the long 5-game series against the Miami Marlins. That culminated with a resounding 7-1 victory on Sunday afternoon. Marcell Ozuna, another home run, this one of the 3-run variety, his third in 2 games. Michael Harris, the second, stays hot. He went 2 for 4. He also had a home run. Matt Olson gets on the right track, breaking out of a little bit of a slump of his own with a long ball in Game 5. Joey Wentz gets his first win as a member of the Atlanta Braves. He went 5 1/3, gave up 4 hits and 1 earned run. The Braves off today. They'll be in the Big Apple in New York City starting Tuesday. Spencer Strider getting the start on the mound. He's 5-9, has a 4.04 ERA, 33 walks and 98 strikeouts. Clay Holmes going for the Mets. He's 9-6, a 3.46 ERA, 47 walks and 97 strikeouts. Ford leadoff show with myself and Chris Domino at 5:55 Eastern. First pitch with Ben and Darren O'Day from Citi Field. 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, right here on the Braves Radio Network.
Can you take the hits? Here comes the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning, Northwest Florida. You are tuned into the Sports Blitz, ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show. Text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And visit the website, ESPNPC.com, and 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has got Jaguars tickets for you. We have got Jaguars tickets for home games this upcoming season at Everbank Stadium. So just keep on listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida for your chance and details on how to win these Jacksonville Jaguars tickets. I guess you guys saw me coming back in, those of you on Facebook and Twitch, YouTube, saw me rubbing the arm, got a tattoo. And so it's still at that stage where, you know, you gotta rub your Aquifer cream on it because it's starting to get that little bit of peel, a little bit of dryness to it.
Yeah, I didn't realize how tatted up you were.
Gotta take care of it. Yeah, I got a little bit of a pincushiony thing going on here. Looking to get some more work done, too, because it's one of those things that once you start doing it, you get that little bit of an addiction to it, that little, you know, those little endorphin kicks you get while you're sitting there while that machine's just all over you. Huh. Yeah, it's some of them have hurt more than others. Some of them didn't hurt at all. So it just, you know, some people are, oh God, that hurt, you know, so awful to get that tattoo.
Does it depend on what part of the body it's done?
More or less, I'm going to say, yeah, it's what part of the body was done and also the person. My wife and I have our wedding rings tattooed on our fingers because we work on a farm. And it's one of those that I have after being on an ambulance for, you know, my first kind of real job out in the world. And I saw people have wedding rings and they would get stuck on something. And I saw a couple of people that actually get degloved. And I won't explain it, but if you're really into it, go to Google and type in degloving and you'll get to see exactly what I'm talking about. So it was that point in time that I was looking around going, you know what? I work on a farm. I got a farm. I work on an ambulance, and you're just around like really small spaces. So I don't want that thing to get caught on anything at all. So, you know, when we got married, we did do the exchanging of rings because we knew we were going to get them tattooed on eventually, so we just literally found some Walmart rings, didn't spend a whole lot on them. And we wore those for a little bit before we got the tattoos. So
kept your fingers.
It's one of those. I have not lost any form of my fingers whatsoever. But my wife said the finger tattoo was one of her most painful that she has. And for me, this is an old tattoo that I got retouched up while I got the other one done last week. And tattooing my fingers just doesn't hurt me. Doesn't bother me. I guess my fingers are a little meatier than hers. So, I was just I could sit there all day and you could just go to town not feeling anything.
Folks, James Fife might sound like a nice guy on the radio, but he's all tatted up. He's got a mohawk. He's a dangerous dude.
Dangerous, man. Dangerous. I drive my Jeep with the top down in the rain. That's the kind of man you're talking to.
You don't care.
More NFL scores. Let's see. Where did we end up? All right. Last thing we covered was the Vikings and the Texans. Let's roll on into the Rams taking on the Cowboys. The Rams get the victory over the Cowboys 31-21. Again, no starters for either of these teams. All we saw were backups fully through this process. We saw Stetson Bennett. Yes, that Stetson Bennett from the University of Georgia. The entire game was his. 16 for 24 on the evening, 188 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So not the best numbers, when we're talking an NFL where you're wanting to see quarterbacks with 300 and 400 yards in a game, but not the worst numbers. But luckily for you, Rams fans, he's not your starter. You're just giving your backups a little bit of practice. Joe Milton was the key focus for the Dallas passing offense. He was 17 for 29, 143 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And Will Greer coming in for a little bit of work, 2 for 3, 14 yards. Now, the big thing of the day, the largest, biggest hit that I saw over this sports weekend. And I mean, it was a crushing blow on CeeDee Lamb, who, by the way, was in street clothes for the game, did not make an appearance. But the side judge running down the field to keep up with the play, because that's what he's supposed to do. The side judge is allowed to run in that white section on the sideline. That is his lane. Nobody can block it. Well, the Cowboys threw for a touchdown. Everybody getting excited. CeeDee Lamb getting excited, got in that runway, was running down the field with it, not paying attention. And, of course, the side judge not paying attention because he's got his head to the side watching what's happening on the field, just running straight down the field. And, I mean, that side judge just totally ran over CeeDee Lamb. Biggest, hardest hit that I saw of the weekend. Was involved with guys that were not technically supposed to be hitting each other on the field. So that can always end up either really, really funny or really, really bad because nobody knows it's happening. Luckily for CeeDee Lamb, luckily for the side judge, everybody was okay. Nobody hurt here, but still, CeeDee Lamb gets the penalty for being in the referee's way. That is a 10-yard penalty on the Cowboys. So no touchdown gets to happen on that play because of what you did, CD. But luckily, preseason games, so does anybody really care? Not really.
Did that change the outcome of the play?
Yeah, it changes the outcome of the play. Because it'll just nullify. It'll just go from where the play happened, and it's a 10-yard penalty.
So this was a touchdown.
It would have been.
It would have been a touchdown.
Yes.
But dude he interfered with the referee.
Correct.
But that didn't really change the outcome of the play.
Didn't change the outcome of that play other than the referee couldn't keep up and see everything.
I'm not sure if I agree with that penalty.
It's one of those weird rules, and you don't see it very often because if you look at the NFL sidelines, college sidelines, even high school sidelines, they have assistant coaches that you'll see that literally just walk up and down that line, keep back, come on, everybody back, everybody back, everybody back, or they'll just walk behind somebody and grab them by the back of the jersey and pull them back in. You've even got some coaches that are really animated and really into it that love to run out there and yell and scream. They actually have a guy just for themselves. And, I mean, you'll see this guy, grabbing, the back loop of the belt, and, holding on to them to keep them from, running out on the field. It's that's one of those jobs I just wonder, how do you get that job? What is the interview process for that? It's have you ever had to hold a middle-aged man by the back of his britches to keep him from running? Because that's the experience we're looking here.
Right, I've seen these guys with their hands down Kirby Smart's pants. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're keeping Kirby Smart from running out onto that football field. I don't really know how great that works, but I mean, I guess it kind of works because if they're not getting the penalties for it, therefore, I guess good things happen.
I would learn real quick to stay on the sideline if there's someone sticking their hands down my britches.
Yeah, you'd figure that. You'd figure that. But hey, to each his own, to each his own. Jets and Packers. The Jets defeat the Packers 30-10. We're coming up on a break here, so we'll run into this one real quick. The Chiefs and the Cardinals. Cardinals get the victory over the Chiefs 20-17. We did not see any Chiefs starters during that game. Broncos putting a walloping on the 49ers. The Broncos win that game 30-9. The Dolphins and the Bears play to a 24-all tie on Sunday, and then the nightcap game Sunday night, the Saints taking on the Chargers. The Chargers get the victory 27-13 over the Saints, and the Saints just don't have a quarterback, it looks like. I mean, I guess you're going to run Tyler Saw out there. He didn't look awful, 15 for 22, 165 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Then you also had Spencer Rattler, 7 for 11, 53 yards. And then Jake Haener coming in, 5 for 8, 41 yards. I get it. Carr retired, and you didn't expect it. Good. Gone. Okay, what's your backup plan? Well, we drafted this rookie. I guess we're going to play him. Well, that's your answer. You're going to have to play him. Trey Lance, looking not as good as he did the week previous. 7 for 14, 55 yards. DJ Ungale did get a chance to come into the game. 1 for 1, 49-yard pass. A beauty of a play right there. But Taylor Heineke came in for the rest of the work. He was 1 for 5, only completing a 8-yard pass. Well, we are running into the top of the hour, so that means we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we'll discuss some oddities, because truth is always stranger than fiction. The Sports Blitz, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Call or text the show, 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Getting the penalties, not doing what the coaches told them to do, won't get off the field. I'm getting old.
Damn, Coach, already been drinking?
I'm getting old.
I'm doing pretty good. I've already had my third beer. I'm feeling great. It's great weather out here. I'm a little worried about you. Every time I call in, you're a little confused.
I'm getting old.
Weekday morning, 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, very light rain and definite thunderstorms and a high of 86 with a moderate breeze coming out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. For tonight, likely thunderstorms and very light rain at a low near 79. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms and a high around 87. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
GSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hamlin dominates in Martinsville. This is the Monday morning race recap presented by Sunoco.
From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco fuels peak performance.
Kyle Larson brings his Chevy in 4 tires, Sunoco Racing Fuel.
From fueling NASCAR champions on the track for over 20 years to innovating 94 octane, the highest octane on the market. Performance is what Sunoco does. All Sunoco fuel at the pump meets the same top-tier standards as the fuel used in NASCAR.
Here for Ryan Blaney, 4 tires of Sunoco fuel.
From the track to your tank, you can trust Sunoco to help your vehicle perform at its peak.
Joe Gibbs Racing driver Denny Hamlin dominated yesterday's Cookout 400 at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, leading a race-high 274 of the race's 400 laps to claim the win. His first of the season and 6th at the paperclip-shaped half-mile oval.
It's just a historic racetrack, and I've been so frustrated not getting a win here, but being kind of the next best in line, and we really have turned the corner. Whatever setup we got here, we bring it back to the fall, we're certainly going to be contenders, but this whole Progressive Toyota team just did a phenomenal job all week preparing and all practice to get me this race-winning car.
The win for Hamlin is the 55th of his career, which ties him with Rusty Wallace for 11th on the all-time win list. Behind Hamlin at the finish was teammate Christopher Bell in second, while Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson completed the top 5. With the win, Hamlin locks himself into the playoffs, the 5th driver to do so in the 7th race of the season. The NASCAR Cup Series heads to the famed Darlington Raceway in South Carolina for this Sunday's running of the Goodyear 400. That's the Monday Morning Race Recap presented by Sunoco. I'm Kyle Rickey on the Motor Racing Network.
The Sports Blitz.
Welcome home, baby.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And a good afternoon, Northwest Florida. The Sports Blitz coming to you live right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, right from beautiful Panama City Beach. Call the show. Text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us there, ESPN Northwest Florida. Download our app. We're in the Google Play Store. We're in the Android store as well. So just type on in ESPN Northwest Florida. Download us. Take us with you everywhere you be. ESPNPC.com is the website. Give it a visit. Beach flags are yellow, everyone, so get on out and enjoy the beautiful beaches that we have right here in Northwest Florida. Hey, Chef Ross. Chef Ross coming in on the Facebook page saying a happy Monday and a happy Monday to you, Chef Ross, and a happy Monday to all of our listeners out there across Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and across what we call the world of radio. James Fife here in the captain's chair. Bone Crusher with us here today on the beautiful, beautiful Monday that we got going on. A couple of oddities for you because truth is always stranger than fiction. Now, Bone Crusher, if you remember, we talked about nuclear wasps. We have talked about nuclear radioactive rhinoceros. Are you ready for some more nuclear radioactive critters?
Wow.
A French nuclear plant temporarily shut down on Monday due to a massive and unpredictable presence of jellyfish in its filters, operators said. The swarm clogged up a cooling system and caused 4 units at the Gravelines and nuclear power plant to automatically shut off, the energy group EDF said. The site in northern France was shut after the incident with its remaining 2 units already down for maintenance. EDF said that they had no impact on safety to the facility, the safety and personnel, or the environment. It added the fish were also found in the non-nuclear part of the facilities. The plant teams are mobilized and are currently carrying out the necessary diagnosis and interventions to be able to restart the production units safely, the EDF said in a statement. Situated between Dunkirk and Calais, Gravelines is one of France's 4 largest power plants, with 6 units each producing 900 megawatts of power. It is cooled from a canal connected to the North Sea, where several species of jellyfish are native and can be seen around the coast in the waters when they are warm. So now we have flying nuclear wasps, and we have radioactive rhinoceros. Why not add some nuclear reactor jellyfish to the list? I mean, what's not wrong with, a little bit of a nuclear sting to maybe give you some special swimming powers? I mean, maybe this is how Aquaman's story came about. I was swimming off the coast of France when I was stung by a jelly of nuclear power.
Sacre bleu.
Oh, man, come on. We got to get these things kind of taken care of and safe. A Westwego man has been indicted in a fatal shooting at a playground, after which authorities say he tried to hide his involvement by discarding his clothing and returning to the scene of the crime in nothing but a bath towel. Byron Spotsville, 22, was charged Thursday with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice, Jefferson Parish Court records said. He pleaded not guilty Friday in Jefferson Parish Magistrate Court. Spotsville is accusing the killing of a 26-year-old Joshpan Apanoza of Westwego. Spotsville lived next door to the scene of the shooting at Fred Dorsey Playground, 38 Norton Street. Westgo, according to authorities, said. Police were dispatched to a covered basketball court at the park at about 1:35 p.m. April 30th to investigate a report of a shooting. They arrived and found Espinoza suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, police said, and he was pronounced dead. Officers learned that a man had been seen running from the area after the shooting. Authorities later received a tip that the gunman had returned to the playground wearing only a towel. Investigators determined that the towel-clad man, later identified as Spotsville, and interviewed him. He at first denied any involvement in the shooting, police said, but Spotsville confessed, telling police he thought the victim had been armed with a gun, according to police. After the shooting, Spotsville fled to a nearby wooded area where he discarded the gun and all of his clothing, authorities said. He then grabbed a towel from a nearby porch, and after the incident, the court increased Spotsville bail to $1 million. He was being held Friday at the Jefferson Parish Correctional Center in Gretna.
Well, if you do a bad crime and, they'd love to return to the scene of the crime wearing towels. Like, oh, it can't be that guy. He's in a towel. He looks like he just got out of the shower.
Yeah, that guy, I'm sure he just ran out of a shower, right across the street. I'm sure he was standing there looking out the window the whole time to see exactly what happened. Yeah, and that doesn't look suspicious at all, Mr. Naked Man in a towel standing there watching the cops do all of their work. No suspicions had.
Hiding in plain sight.
I mean, sometimes it works, but I try to not wear a towel and stand out like a guy that's naked in a towel. Because I'm sure that just kind of stands out when you're not, at a beach maybe, or a sauna, but yeah, just in the middle of a county park at a basketball court. Hey, man, nice towel. Good look on you. Good look on you. All right, we got one more. A Tennessee man is accused of shooting his wife, but stopping for beer on the way to taking her to the hospital for treatment. According to a Facebook post by the Shelby County District's Attorney's Office, 51-year-old DeCarlo Pitchford pulled the trigger on his wife last month. The victim told authorities that she was being blocked from leaving, and when her husband shot her, he said, "I told you, you ain't playing with me." Prosecutor said Pitchfork then took his wife to the hospital for treatment, but stopped for beer along the way. He is charged with second-degree murder, domestic assault, and felony in possession of a firearm. He is currently being held for $350,000 bond. Now, the police have not elaborated on the condition of the victim. All right, so don't shoot your wife. That's not good. Don't shoot people in general. That's usually a good rule of, life to follow.
And this guy wasn't even supposed to have a gun.
Apparently if he is a convicted felon, and that was one of the charges, a convicted felon having a gun, well, just the whole thing right there is highly, highly illegal. So, yeah. And it doesn't look great when you present your case. Well, Your Honor, I shot her. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. In fact, it was such an accident. I felt so bad that I had to drown my sorrows in alcohol on the way to the hospital.
He stopped for beer on the way. Wow.
What would have been even greater is if the cops, searched the car and then found, the empty beer cans in the car, then you could add in, DUIs and all those kind of things to it as well. Because I'm assuming if you're the kind of person that's willing to shoot your wife and stop on the way to the hospital and grab beer, that you're probably the kind of person that's not exactly going to pay attention to DUI and no drinking driving laws. I'm pretty sure he's kind of good with, cracking open the beer and driving the shot wife down to the hospital. I told you I'd get you there, woman.
I wonder what kind of beer he got. Probably was not like an IPA or something. It's probably like a domestic American lager.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably not an IPA. I'm going to say it might have even been like maybe a malt liquor. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Coors, the Silver Bullet.
The Silver Bullet. Oh yeah, no Colt 45.
Oh, it could have been the Colt.
Could have been a Colt 45. There you go. There we go.
That's a malt liquor.
That's a good malt liquor right there. All right.
Yeah,
guys.
I got to be malt liquored up before I shoot anybody. Yeah.
Well, apparently he wasn't. So I guess he had to stop and make up for it. I was like, oh, sorry, I'm usually drunk when I do this. My apologies. Let me stop on the way and get
probably
drunk
had a buzz going already.
Oh,
yeah, he just had to keep his buzz going. That's why.
Absolutely. And I also would have liked to have known how much did he buy. Was it just a little? Was it just like maybe like a little like 24 ouncer or maybe it was a 6-pack? Maybe he got a full case of something. I mean, they're leaving me hanging here, man. I need more to this story.
Right.
Okay, let's talk a little bit of Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jaguars preseason game number 1 is in the books. The Jaguars taking on the Steelers, this game being played at Everbank. It saw the Jaguars not get the victory. Boo. So the Steelers win 31-25 over the Jags. Was the game score looks a lot closer kind of than what really happened here. Like the Jags had a nice push at the end once that the Steelers started having all of their like 4th, 5th, 8th string, guy that you just pulled out of the stands, coming in and playing in the game. But, I mean, hey, you fight back. You got close. What happened? Well, we saw Trevor Lawrence for just a little while come in for one set of downs. So we saw him 6 for 7, 43 yards on the game. Then we saw Nick Mullins coming in, doing the majority of the lifting after that. 11 for 18, 89 yards and a touchdown. Seth Hannigan got in at 11 and 14, 78 yards. And then we saw John Wolford coming in for the last little bit, 3 for 5, 63 yards on the game. Now, Steelers playing nothing but backups, no starters there. Well, a few starters if you go through the roster, but most of the big-name guys for the Steelers, non-participants. Skylar Thompson in the game, 20 for 28, 233 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Mason Rudolph got the game started, was in for the first quarter, 9 for 10, 84 yards, and 1 passing touchdown. Each guy got sacked 1 time in the backfield. Now, the Jaguars, we got to see our first chances of Travis Hunter. He was out for probably the first full quarter. And in that time, we saw him both on the offense and on the defense. Wasn't too big of an impact for him in the game. On the offensive side of the football, 2 catches, 9 yards, one of them a 6-yard catch, one of them a 3-yard catch, but he was targeted twice. So that says he did catch both of his targets. Good sign for the young man. And so he was slightly involved. We didn't see any kind of crazy routes. We didn't see any deep routes. We didn't really see any kind of crazy, routes from the Jags. It was all pretty basic, out routes, comebacks, crosses, nothing really going for heavy chucks down the field most of the game. I mean, you saw a couple of them that were going downfield every once in a while, but they kept everything kind of close. I don't know if that's just a situation where they're looking to build on it or if they're just not trying to show too much of a hand while still trying to evaluate some guys. Not quite sure here. On the defensive side of the ball, no stats for Travis Hunter, so no tackles for him, no sacks, no blocked passes or anything like that. But he was out on the field. No passes went his way. So that does mean that no catches were made by the guy that he was defending. Now, I don't know if that was the Steelers just staying away from him or if just no passes went that way because just no passes went that way. I'm not quite sure what happened on that one, but we did see Travis Hunter out there. We got to see him doing both sides of the football, and we got to see him doing it back to back. Now, I kind of thought what we might have seen was, seeing him on the offense at first, and then when he was done on the offense, then see him on the defense and have him do a couple of possessions on defense. But no, we did not see that. We actually saw how we might see him in future usage for the Jacksonville Jaguars, going out to both sides of the football just when it needs to happen. Now, the big thing of this game was that big kick by Cam Little. Cam Little for 4 for 4 on the day, so that is 100% on field goals. And 1 for 1 on extra points, so that means he is 100% on extra points. But here's the thing. Going into halftime, Jags get a little bit of a stalled drive. Clock is ticking on down to that 0. So Jags don't really have the arms at quarterback right now to make that big chuck down the field to get that last second touchdown before you head into halftime with the Hail Mary. So what do? You send the kicker out. How far can you kick the football? Because the time is going to run out here. And as long as you're not too short and they don't return it, we should be good to go. So,
that's a dangerous kick.
The ball is sitting somewhere at around the 48-yard line on the Jacksonville Jaguars side of the football. So that means he is lining up to kick this ball from his own 40-yard line. That's a long way to go. That's 70 yards, guys. 70 yards. That's a long way to make a football go.
Can't be done.
Can't be done. Nobody's done it before. So, Cam lines up, takes his 4-step backwards, takes his 3 steps to the left like we traditionally see all of our kickers do. Clock runs down, 3, 2, snap, kick, and it is God. It is so good that he could probably even have another 2 to 3 yards on it, and it still goes through the uprights. 70 yards. Man, if it was a regular season game, we'd have a record. But it's preseason.
Would they even try that in a regular season game?
They might now.
Yeah.
He can do it. So if you're in a position where clock's running out going into halftime, clock's running out at the end of the game, and you've got to have a chance, I'd probably say you'd see it a little bit more towards the halftime of these things, because if you're that far behind, you're probably not going to take that risk at the end of the game. But at a halftime, sure, why not? We still got half of the game left to play. Head on out there, kid. Let's see you kick another 70-yarder. So we might see it again. Yeah, if you've already got it in your repertoire and you can already prove you can do it, why wouldn't you send him back out to do it again?
Well, what are the rules? Let's say he misses it, comes up short. The defense, can they score here?
Yes. So the special teams, the Steelers did send a guy way back, kind of like you do with a return guy on a punt, and you just literally put him right underneath the uprights. As long as that ball does not hit the ground, so as long as the Steelers catch that ball in the air, onto the field of play, they can return it. And that is a live football, so it's basically treated like a punt at that point, and you can return it. So there is a danger there of if you are short, it can turn into a touchdown for them.
I think Alabama fans know all about that.
That one was a great heartbreaker. Like everybody in that stadium just looking around like shocked. Oh, yes, we all remember the great Auburn return. And Alabama fans, you remember it, but you try not to.
Sorry.
I know. A little bit of salt, a little bit of wounds. My bad, guys. We'll make it up to you during the season, I promise. All right, coming up next, let us have a Braves update. You are tuned into the Sports Blitz 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290.
Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up!
Call or text the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida with your rants, hot takes, picks, and takedowns.
This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama!
This could go 7 games. You've got to have a bad game at some point.
The Red 70s studio line, 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Get in the game.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. The rest of the day, light sprinkles and definite thunderstorms, and 86 with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. Tonight, light rain and likely thunderstorms with lows around 79. Tomorrow, likely thunderstorms most of the day aside from some sun in the evening and a temperature near 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
The new Sports Blitz.
Oh, yeah!
Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz on the air, ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And visit the website, espnpc.com. And ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. No Braves game today. Braves are up in New York waiting for the Mets for tomorrow. Pre-game 6 o'clock on Tuesday, 6:10 for the first pitch against the New York Mets. 3-game stand within the East. Let's go Braves. Now, I know the Braves, not a great chance for them for playoffs, but can the Braves play a little bit of spoiler and keep the Mets out of the playoffs? I would appreciate that, guys. Yeah. I would absolutely love that. Well, let's go over the week that was for the Atlanta Braves on this update. Last Monday, the Braves taking on the Brewers. This is a 3-game stand for the Braves. This game was happening at Truist Park. Well, not the prettiest picture in those 3 games. Game number 1 on Monday, the Braves take the loss, 3-1. Game number 2 on Tuesday, the Braves take the loss, 7-2. And on Wednesday, for game number 3, the Braves take another loss, 5-4. They are swept by the Brewers at home. Ouchie. Ouchie. Brewers still hanging out as the number 1 team in Major League Baseball. So the Braves then turn their attention to the Miami Marlins. So this is a 5-game set because of a rain-delayed makeup that was from the first series of the season that the Braves had to make up with the Marlins during this set. So game number 1, Thursday, we get it started in Atlanta. The Braves come in with the 8-6 victory. Hooray! Hooray! We are breaking the losing streak, getting into the win column. Good news for the boys. Now, let's get into Friday, and we'll cover some of these a little bit deeper because they're games that have happened since we have not been in office. So Friday, we saw the Braves taking on the Marlins. The Marlins get the victory on this one, 5-1 over the Braves. Marlins come out early, have the 5-0 lead by the 5th inning, and the Braves just never got anything together on that one. Braves do get one home run in the 6th inning. So that was, that one home run means the one run that they scored that came from Jurickson Profar, who was the leadoff man for that game. Interesting spot for him. We've seen him there a few times. Seems to be doing okay with it. He doesn't seem to really be that number one guy that you really want at the top of the order. I just don't think that he has the speed that can exactly inspire fear to pitchers and the other team for somebody to be on base, maybe have a chance to steal and get the base running going early. And I mean, 2 hits for an entire game for the Braves, that ain't going to get you too far of anything. So Jurickson Profar, we know, got one of the hits with his home run. And Michael Harris, the second, also getting a hit that game for grand total 2 hits to the Marlins, 5 runs. Bryce Elder coming in, 6 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Elder now has a 6.12 on the season for an ERA. Oh, I mean, we weren't planning on having Bryce, be one of the 5 rotation guys. He was expected to come in and do some spot starts and be a starter here and there, like when guys come up and down. For me, he's like that number 6, number 7, number 8 guy that you have to carry nowadays in the minors to have him come up and do these fill-in roles. But with all of the injuries that the Braves have, he's kind of been forced into a starting 5 kind of a rotation piece, and he'll be there until you get enough arms back. But a 4 for 9 on the season with a 6.12, that's not great. Only 81 strikeouts to go with it. I mean, good number, but I mean, I could use a little bit more behind that. Then our next game number 1 Saturday. So this was a Saturday morning game. This was the makeup game from earlier in the season. So the Braves finally start looking pretty good on this one. Braves get a nice lead in the 2nd inning. Nice little sacrifice fly by White to score Harris, and Albies grounded out to second to allow Murphy to score. So the Braves get up 2-0 in the 2nd. Then in the 3rd inning, the Braves have Baldwin, who has been playing absolutely great, singled into center for Allen to score. So that gives them the 3-0 game. And then in the bottom of the 4th, we have what I can only describe as highway robbery. Let's take a listen.
1-2 and a deep fly ball to left field. Profar going to go back to the wall, and he will leap. Did he just catch that? Oh! Unbelievable! Jurickson Profar with a magic trick at the top of the left field wall to rob Augustine Ramirez.
That was one of those catches that it's got to be up there with catch of the year for the Atlanta Braves. It has got to at least be on the list at the end of the baseball season for all of Major League Baseball as one of the greatest catches of the year. I mean, this thing was just smacked out into left center-ish area, and it is flying. And I mean, it is high, it is flying. And you see Profar get back to the wall. You see him climb that wall. Luckily, it is only about a 10-foot wall there. So if you can get your fingers up there and you can pull yourself up, which Profar did, and he just hung on to that. And I mean, he is reaching for as far as he can over the wall. I mean, his arm had to be a good 3 feet past the end of the wall to get that ball coming down and bring it back for that out. I mean, that was absolutely play of the year worthy, and the Braves get the big victory 7-1 over the Marlins in game 1 for that day. Michael Harris II also getting a home run during the game. So we're looking kind of better, guys. We're looking good. I like what I am seeing here. So our second game of Saturday comes to us Saturday night on this doubleheader. And the Braves come out to a nice game of 0-0 going into the fourth inning. But once the fourth inning gets here, Braves pitching just kind of falls apart, giving up 4 runs in the top of the fourth inning. Not looking great for the Braves, but they did not say die today. Bottom of the fourth, Ozuna comes up and launches, and I mean launches a baseball out to straightaway center field. 433 feet later, it decides to come back to the face of the earth. I mean, that thing was just meant to be crushed. Then in the fifth inning, Braves have a nice explosive fifth inning. Baldwin singles out to left. Profar scores. Ozuna homers again. Nice. I say again, Ozuna homers, this time 416 feet to left field. That lets the bases get empty. Then into the sixth inning, Olsen has a nice single to get Brujan to score. Then also Baldwin follows that up with a single to left field to get Profar and Williams to score. So that makes it an 8-4 ball game. Now, Marlins try to have the comeback in the seventh inning. Marlins get 2 runs in the seventh inning, but the Braves hold on for that 8-6 victory on Saturday night. Congratulations, Braves. That's a win streak. 2 in a row. That's a win streak. Now we can roll into Sunday. Oh, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. The Braves are not good on Sundays, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. The Braves before this Sunday, their winning record on Sunday was below 200 at 174. No, wow. The Braves do not like Sundays. So, Sunday and the Braves. What happens? Well, the Braves said, "What do you mean we're not any good on Sundays? I'll show you that you're wrong." Braves did come out to a 1-0. They were trailing the Marlins 1-0 early. Marlins get a run in the second inning, but the Braves coming in at the fourth inning and then just decided to keep on adding runs after the fourth inning. Olsen homers to right center, 419 feet. Then in the fifth inning, Profar doubles for Alvarez to score. Then in the fifth inning, Profar scored on a Phillies wild pitch. So that means he was at third, and that ball went all the way to the backstop. That was one of those sliders that bounced a good 6 to 8 feet in the dirt right in front of the catcher. Nothing the catcher can do about that one other than, well, go chase it because that's your job. Seventh inning. Would you like another Ozuna home run for the series?
Yes, please.
All right, then how about a 422-foot bomb from Ozuna out to left field in the seventh inning, and another Braves home run in the seventh inning. Michael Harris II adding a home run to the list as well, 374 feet down the right field line. The Braves win this game 7-1. Braves bats looking good this game. Olsen with a home run. Ozuna with a home run. Harris with a home run on the day. So the bats looking to get a little bit warm up against the Marlins. Wentz coming in, pitching for the Braves on Sunday. 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 Ks. Hernandez comes in to finish out the sixth inning, 2/3 of an inning. Then Lee coming in for 1 inning pitch, gives up 1 hit. Johnson comes in for 1 inning pitch, gives up no hits. Kenley comes in, gives up one hit, but also collects the strikeout. No save situation, no hold situation. Well, because the score was already out of hand. So guess what? You don't really got to have, any kind of save situation. Kind of weird how they have that, but they made the rules. I've just read them. But the other news coming out of this series for the Braves in the Marlin, we saw Jen Powell. Jen Powell, the very, very first female umpire, the very first lady to umpire in Major League Baseball. Got behind the dish on Sunday, was actually calling the balls and the strikes on Sunday. So our first chance to see her and what kind of a strike zone that she kind of gives looked pretty good. No big complaints from me. Some of those high strikes that weren't called, they were called balls, but they were right there on the line. That's one that I think she'll kind of work on, because nowadays, as soon as the umpires get back into their room, they already have an email from the league showing them where they got the calls right and where they got the calls wrong. So, you don't even get a minute to think about it. No, you've already got your feedback sitting right there waiting for you. But you got to realize Jen Powell, growing up, she was a catcher, so maybe just a little bit of bias back there in the back of the mind, trying to help the pitchers and the catchers out maybe a little bit. I got no proof of this, but just saying, if you look at people who are like former catchers, former pitchers that have become umpires, usually have a nicer strike zone for the pitchers, and the guys that used to be fielders and used to be big batters, if you look at them, usually have a little bit more of a favorable strike zone to the hitters. Little bias there. You can't help it. But it was not awful. I think she had a good game. She stuck in there. No really big shouting matches, though there was some confrontations, where, the manager, catcher said something to her and she just fired right back like you're supposed to as the umpire. So it looks like she kept control of the game. She kept the flow of the game nice and going. So we'll just see where she ends up next. Now, she is what we call a quote-unquote roving umpire, so that means she is not yet assigned to an umpiring crew. So, the crew of 4 that we see going together. Each Major League Baseball umpire, and this is part of their union agreement, that is on a squad, so that means you're part of a group of 4. Each of those guys has 4 weeks of paid vacation every year that is to be taken during the season.
What?
Yes. It's your perk and benefit of being a Major League Baseball umpire.
Why would you take 4 weeks off during the season?
Because you can.
I wouldn't want to. That would be ridiculous.
Why wouldn't you take it, though? You get paid the same amount if you show up to work and if you don't.
You love baseball. You're there to be an ump, or, take that in the off season. Why would? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. 4 weeks paid vacation every year for Major League umpires during the season. I got no issues with it. It doesn't bother me.
It bothers me a lot, actually.
if you that's part of the CBAs the umpires do with the Major League Baseball. It is written into, all right, this is our union agreement. You going to agree to it, Major League Baseball? Major League Baseball says yes. So the Rovers are the guys that go in for, Bob's taking a break. He's on vacation this week. So you get a Rover to fill in for Bob, or, Bob gets sick, has the flu or something like that. No, you got to fill somebody in for Bob, and that's what the Rovers do. So she'll work her way back down now into the AAA level. They'll throw her in on one of those crews, and she'll keep on getting practice. But when somebody else takes their break, I bet she gets back up into the league and has a chance at calling more balls and strikes.
In radio, like when we're in a ratings book, you don't take a vacation. Their talents take their vacations when the ratings are over. They should be doing the same thing. They should be taking their break when the season is over. But that's great to see her come up to the MLB level. I'm curious about the journey she went through to get there. I'm sure it was a long road.
According to the ESPN last night while watching one of the other games, it took her 10 years of officiating both college softball, and she started out in minor league baseball, started out in rookie ball, up to low A, up to high A, and she skipped even double A and went into triple A. Nice. And then she's been at triple A, I want to say, for like 2 or 3 years, they said. So she's been around. First time a Major League Baseball, manager yells at her. Won't be the first time a baseball manager has yelled at her. I guarantee you that one. Yeah. I guarantee you Aaron Boone at some point is going to yell at her because that's just what Aaron Boone does. And by the way, Aaron Boone kicked out of was it Saturday? Yes, Sunday's game. Aaron Boone ejected from Sunday's game. His 5th ejection of the season. And when we get more towards the end of the season, I'll break down all the numbers on all the managers getting ejected, and we'll just see who won the managerial ejection race this season. That one's always one that I kind of enjoy looking at. So the Braves get swept by the Brewers, who, by the way, are on a 9-game winning streak anyway, so the Brewers are just hot. And then take 4 from 5 from the Marlins.
There we go.
So the Braves getting better. 51-67 though, so it's still not a pretty picture at all.
But we're not mathematically eliminated yet.
That is correct. The Braves, we are not mathematically eliminated. The Braves 12 games back from the New York Mets for that last wild card spot.
Okay.
Like I say, let's sweep the Mets. Let's knock them off of that pedestal. That gets the Braves that much closer, and it gets the Mets maybe out of the wild card spot, because right now the Cincinnati Reds only 1.5 games behind the Mets. So if the Braves sweep the Mets, and if the Reds win 2 games in their next series, the Mets will be out of the playoffs in the last spot, and the Reds will jump in to that final playoff spot, because I'm not real confident that the Braves have that great run in them to make up 12 games
one tear
being
away,
behind.
man.
I mean,
I'm going to be
it's possible.
optimistic.
It's possible. I appreciate your optimism, and I love it, but I'm going to live in a little bit of reality and think that it's probably not going to happen. But I mean, if we can take the Mets out of the playoffs, isn't that kind of like, it's not really a great consolation prize, but at least it's nice that you can point and laugh at the Mets, right? Who doesn't enjoy pointing and laughing at the Mets? Because the Mets love to Met. All right, when we get back, it's our $2 bets, and we'll go over this day in history. You're listening to the Sports Blitz, coming to you live from ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red boils, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, and great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Reliable Coffee Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Coffee Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Mothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Coffee Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Anthony's Dream Collection isn't just an art gallery. It's a creative hub dedicated to transform your spaces and elevating your brand. Anthony's Dream Collection offers a comprehensive suite of artistic services designed to leave a lasting impression. Paintings on canvases, wall murals, and next-level graphic design services. Level up your home, office, and business with our one-stop shop. Visit Anthony'sDreamCollection.com for more information. That's Anthony'sDreamCollection.com.
Now back to the Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz live and on the air, ESPN 104.3 Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Download our app. Take us with you everywhere you go. And visit the website, espnpc.com. And, of course, ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast. The next game for the Braves tomorrow, taking on the Mets. Pregame 6 o'clock. First pitch 6:15. Atlanta Braves baseball on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored locally by Bill Bird Kia, PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hewitt Tire and Auto, and Hometown Towing. Time for our $2 bets. So, last Friday, I was 1-4-3 on the bets. So with my Angels-Tigers bet, I missed on Torres getting a hit and Colton Keith to get a hit. Neither of those things happened, but it was over 7.5 runs, and the Tigers did win. So I was halfway there. And I missed on the Reds-Pirates. I missed on both of those right there, as horribly as I can do. Let's see. The game score was under the 7.5 runs when I took over, and the Reds were not within a run and a half because the Reds did not even bother to score a run during Friday's game. However, I keep saying it, you shouldn't be betting on preseason football. But you know what? I have not yet missed any of my preseason football bets. So maybe I should rethink some of my strategies here. But in the preseason, the Browns and Panthers were over the 33.5, and the Lions and the Falcons were over the 32.5. So my $2 bet there netted me a return of $3.90. So that means I got $1.90 total out of that bet. And I was down for the day. But you don't win every day. You just come back and you try again. So what are we trying for today? Well, let's take a look at the Brewers and the Pirates. I will take the Brewers to win. Give me the over at 8.5 runs for the game. I will take Jose Quintana for over 4.5 strikeouts, and give me Durbin for over half a hit. That is a $2 bet. That could return me $12 if those four things come true. Next, we will move on into the Cardinals and the Rockies. I feel good about the first 2 steps of this. I actually feel good about the first 3 steps of this. I got the Cards to win. I will take the over 8.5 runs. I will take Michaelis to get over 3.5 Ks. And I do got Brendan Donovan for over the half a hit. I'm a little bit worried about the Donovan hit, but I still think it comes true fruition. Why? Because that is a $2 bet that could be worth 12 American greenback dollars.
None of those Puerto Rican wampum bucks.
No bongo bucks here. Just American dollars I am chasing after. And the final bet of the evening will go to the Yankees taking off the Twins. And we all remember a couple weeks ago, the Twins during the trade deadline hit the nuclear button and absolutely imploded that entire organization. So give me the Yankees to win, and I will take the over 8.5 runs on the game. That $2 bet would net me $5.20 if I am correct.
Good luck.
You are listening to the Sports Blitz, ESPN Northwest Florida. Call the show, text the show, 850-215-6290. We'll move on into this day in history. It is Monday, August 11th, 2025. Happy Monday to all of you listening out there. And on this day, 1919, the Green Bay Packers Football Club, founded by George Calhoun and Curly Lambeau, are named after their sponsor, the Indian Packing Company. This day, 1929, Babe Ruth gets his very first Major League home run, and that would lead on his way to his career.
Coach Hale was at that game.
He was at that game. He was actually coaching third base at that game, to be exact. 1974, Lee Trevino beats Jack Nicklaus by 1 stroke to capture the PGA Championship. 1984, Carl Lewis duplicates Jesse Owens' 1936 feat, winning his 4th Olympic gold medal as part of the U.S. men's 4x100-meter relay. They set a world record at the time, 37.83 seconds. 1985, Hubert Green beats defending champion Lee Trevino by 2 strokes to take the PGA Championship. This day, 1991, my favorite golfer, John Daly, the last alternate to make the field, wins the 73rd PGA Championship with a 1 under 71 to finish 3 strokes ahead of Bruce Letsky. This day, 2008, the U.S. 4x100-meter freestyle replay team of Michael Phelps, Garrett Weber-Gale, Colin Jones, and Jason Lezek beats France by 8 seconds to win the gold and smashing the world record at the Beijing Olympics. 2012, Candace Parker scores 21 points and the heavily favored U.S. women's basketball team wins their 5th straight Olympic gold medal with a 86-50 victory over France. 2016, Michael Phelps wins his 4th gold medal of the Rio Olympics and 22nd overall with a victory in the 200-meter individual medley. It was the 13th individual gold and 26th medal overall. 2016, Simone Biles soars to the all-around title in women's gymnastics at the Rio Olympics. Her total of 62.198 was well clear of the silver medalist and Final 5 teammate Ali Rasman and Russian bronze medalist Alia Mustafina. And on this day, 2017, the NFL suspends Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott 6 games after a year-long NFL investigation of his domestic violence case that took place in Ohio. Well, that is history, everybody. Hopefully we got some made tonight so we can talk about it next year. So the game of the night, what do I have for my game of the night? I think the game of the night is going to be the Red Sox taking on the Astros. The Red Sox currently 4 games back in the East and are in the 2nd wild card spot currently in the American League. The Astros are the number 1 team in the AL West and currently are the 3rd place team when it comes to playoff standings in the American League. So right now, if the playoffs happen today, the Astros have to play a series in that first round because the first 2 teams get those byes. So what happens with the Astros? I don't know. This should be an exciting game. Lots and lots of playoff implications coming in that game. And I mean, just look at the league right now. We are going to have some fun baseball to watch as these divisions start to wrap up and as the wild card starts to wrap up as we get towards the end of the season. Right now, the Toronto Blue Jays running away in first place, 69-50 in the American League East. Boston coming in at second, 65-54, 4 games behind. And the New York Yankees, 62-56. That makes them 6.5 games behind in the East. Moving on to the Central, because let's face it, the Rays are out of it and the Orioles are gone. The American League Central, the Detroit Tigers at 68-51 hold that spot of number 1. The Cleveland Guardians catching up to the Tigers. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we were just talking about how the Tigers were going to set it in cruise control and they were going to win the Central and they had nothing to worry about. Let's look at these Guardians. The Guardians now 61-56. 8-2 in their last 10. They were at 1.16 games behind. They are now 6 behind. So that race has gotten very, Very interesting. Coming out of the AL West, we got the Houston Astros at 66-52, holding on to that first spot. The Seattle Mariners right on the tail at 66-53. That is a half game behind. The Mariners on a 7-game win streak and 9-1 in their last 10. The Rangers still hanging around at 60-59, 6.5 games back. Wild cards in the American League right now. The Mariners holding on to spot number 1. The Boston Red Sox in spot number 2, and the Yankees are barely holding on to that third and final wild card spot. The Cleveland Guardians right on the Yankees' tail at a half game behind the New York Yankees. The Texas Rangers 2.5 games back. The Kansas City Royals 4 games back. The Rays 5.5. The Twins 5.5. And the Los Angeles Angels are 6 games back. Let's turn our attention quickly to the National League. The Phillies leading in the East 68-49. The Mets 5.5 games behind them at 63-55. The Milwaukee Brewers still the number 1 team in Major League Baseball, 73-44. Good enough for first place in the Central. The Cubs 67-50. They have now fallen to 6 games behind the Brewers after just a few weeks ago having the lead over the Brewers. And in the National League West, the Dodgers have the lead right now, 68-50. The Padres at 66-52, so that puts them at 2 games behind. For the wild card in the National League, the Cubs so far holding on to that number 1 wild card spot, 67-50. Coming in at second, the San Diego Padres 66-52. The New York Mets at 63-55 are holding on to that last and third wild card spot. Trying to catch the Mets, we have the Cincinnati Reds at 62-57, 1.5 game back. The St. Louis Cardinals at 60-59, 3.5 games back. The San Francisco Giants 59-59, 4 games behind. Diamondbacks 57-61, 6 games back. And the Miami Marlins still hanging out there, 57-61, just 6 games off of pace for the wild card. And then we see our Atlanta Braves, 51-67, 12 games back of that final wild card position. Well, let's go to New York. Let's sweep the Mets.
Yeah.
Let's at least get the Mets out of the whole wild card contention, and let's get the Braves to maybe everything works out just fine for us. Only 9 games back in 3 days? I doubt it. But
come on.
We got to have hope, everyone. All right, everybody. This has been a great Monday Sports Blitz. You can always call the show and text the show 850-215-6290. For Bone Crusher, I'm James Fife. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. Keep your stick on the ice.
You've read the headlines. You've seen the highlights.
Highway robbery!
But how about the unfiltered truth?
Steroid era, you can like it, love it, hate it, whatever. It's a baseball.
Since 2017, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed